Welcome into the 3-6. The sky is falling. Everything is burning down. Cleveland Browns report. After losing to the Dolphins 39-17, it doesn't even feel like this team has a playoff chance. Not even so much because of their 3-6 record, but because this was supposed to be the game. Building off the Bengals win, off the bye, they would start to turn the corner a little bit. Instead, they got their ass kicked, their teeth kicked in. So with that, on today's show, we got Joe Woods replacements. We're not even going to have a civil discourse about should he be on the hot seat. We are way past this point. His ass is toast. No more. Kevin Stefanski, is he on the hot seat? Now, this is a topic that's still up for debate. Meanwhile, Joe Woods is an open and closed case. And finally, Deshaun Watson returns. He will begin practicing with the team today. So we'll touch on that and some quotes from players and coaches about number 4 coming back to practice for the first time since his suspension began. But are you not checking out of the season, right? Meaning, are you still going to watch the games, keep up with the team? I saw somewhere online a movement to boycott the rest of the Browns season. I get it. We want change, and a good way to show the Haslam's we want change is by taking money out of their pockets. But I'm addicted. I don't care. I've got a problem. I'm not going anywhere. And if you're in the same boat as me and you're going to watch every single game the rest of the season, like today's video so I can get a good head count of the best and the real Browns fans out there. All right, I want to start today's show off with this quote coming in from Kevin Stefanski, as Mary Kay tweeted out. Every coach, myself, we all need to come up with a better game plan. All of us need to be better. What's really frustrating about this part right here is, don't you think when you had the bye, 2 weeks to prepare, you would come up with your best game plan? That's the whole point of the bye, is to get the best out of your team. Instead, that was probably the most ill-advised, ill-prepared game we've seen all year from the Browns, okay? The personnel is not getting it done. So while we're all going to point fingers at Joe Woods, and he deserves a lot of it, I think it is clear that Joe Woods, fire him, replace him, there are still a lot of big holes on this team and on this defense that is simply just not as talented and not as good as we thought it was going to be. I tweeted this out yesterday, and I want to run through it with you guys. The 2023 projected starters at all levels for the defense. The D-line, I think it's just going to be Myles Garrett returning. I don't see a way Taven Bryan or Jordan Elliott. Well, Bryan, no, because he's on a one-year deal. Elliott, it'll be the last year of his rookie contract. They may not cut him just because they don't have anyone else, but I don't see a way you can have him start again next season. Clowney, he signed a one-year deal. They're going to either roll with Alex Wright, who has really not looked like an NFL starter yet. I liked Isaiah Thomas more, but I don't know if they're ready to hand over a starting job to him. The linebacker level, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, he will return. Taki, I think, will return. He's on the last year of his contract, but that's definitely one to watch for. The other linebacker spot, up for grabs, right? I don't think you can pencil in anyone at this point. Deion Jones opted out of the last year. Well, they agreed to restructure his contract, so he is a free agent after this year. That's definitely going to be filled with either a draft pick or a free agency. In the secondary, I know you're not going to like to see it. Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome, this is your traditional defense. Martin Emerson is a starter too, but with just 2 corners on the field, those 2 are returning. John Johnson, he's going to get cut after this season, most likely. Delpit is probably going to be on the roster next year. Whether or not he starts, that's up for a debate. But Delpit, he's still on his rookie contract. Andrew Berry can't just cut everyone on this defense. He has to fill out a 53-man roster. And he doesn't have a first-round pick to help retool every gap, right? He's got to pick his battles. So that second-round pick hopefully goes to the interior defensive line, which means not going to be a safety, which means Delpit probably returns. Whether or not he starts, that's up for debate. DeAnthony Bell could take over and another rookie safety or a cheap free agent. But make no mistake, there's going to be changes. We're talking about this defense losing roughly half of its starters, but they all can't be replaced with first or second round picks and top free agent acquisitions. Andrew Berry simply doesn't have the money to do that. I understand he's got a lot of cap space, but it's always a myth, and things will start tightening up a little bit next year. And also, without a first-round pick, he's got to be wise and be strategic about what picks he or what positions he values over some other spots. All right, moving on here. Ryan Chowdhury, a legend here at the channel, sent a super thanks in after our watch party yesterday saying, hey, dude, do us a favor and find some defensive coordinators that we can hire now or beginning of next year, please. So I did a whole Joe Woods replacements video, which I've got the link to that in the comments of this. But if Joe Woods is getting fired today, tomorrow, Wednesday, whatever, the first replacement will be in-house. So here are 3 internal replacements for Joe Woods because that's where this conversation has to start. Mike Zimmer, Vic Fangio, some of these defensive gurus that are on the market are not coming in midseason. But linebacker coach Jason Tarver, he could be an in-house promotion. So let's go over some notes for some of these replacements. This is his 3rd season. Mike, like pretty much every Browns coach right now on the staff, coming over with Stefanski in 2020. His 19th coaching season in the NFL, though. He has experience as the DC. He did with the Raiders back in 2012 to 14. Was it a good defense then? No. That's why he was canned ultimately. But a lot of coaches do flourish with a second chance, and they learn from their mistakes. He's the most experienced assistant coach on this defense. So if Stefanski wants to turn to someone who's got experience and has been around the league for quite some time, this is your guy. Number 2 is Chris Kiffin, the defensive line coach. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. Matthew, what are you talking about? Why would they promote the defensive line coach to be the interim DC when the defensive line is the worst part of this defense? That's not how decisions are made in front offices. It's not about, hey, where does your defensive line rank? Oh, that's above the secondary. You get the in-house promotion. No, a lot of it is who the players like, who the coaches like. It's an office setting, just like you and I, wherever you work. People like other people more than others. Now, this is Kiffin's 3rd season with the Browns, his 6th season coaching in the NFL. He's got a lot of collegiate experience. 2018 to 2019, he was the 49ers pass rush specialist. He coached Bosa, DeForest Buckner, Tariq Armstead, D. Ford. So he's coached some pretty big names up when he was with the 49ers. I wish I saw that more in Cleveland, but that is something he's kind of got in his resume. He's also the brother of the Ole Miss head coach, Lane Kiffin, who is rumored to be going to Alabama, to Auburn. So maybe we could just redirect his plane up to Cleveland and Chris and Lane can hang out. Jeremy, the producer, is not giggling at this idea at all. Okay. It's a bad idea. All right. We've got one more replacement option. But first, can we reach 14,500 subscribers by the end of today? 22 away. I need 22 members of the Dawg Pound to subscribe. If you're looking for a Browns YouTube channel, click onto that subscribe button. All right, 3rd internal replacement option is Jeff Howard, the defensive backs coach. So Jeff Howard, like everyone else we've seen today, is also in his 3rd season with the Browns and 10th coaching season in the NFL. The reason why I'm including Howard is because he worked with Stefanski in Minnesota for quite some time, from 2013 to 2019. Kevin brought him over from Minneapolis to Cleveland. So the two of them clearly have some sort of repertoire and connection. And if Kevin Stefanski or Andrew Berry make a decision to move on from Joe Woods and Stefanski gets to pick his new DC, I could see him going with Howard, who he has a lot of experience with during their time in Minnesota. He also coached at Odessa Permian, which is the high school in Friday Night Lights, the movie. I just thought that was kind of cool. I wanted to share that. That was his first coaching job. So, Friday Night Lights, better movie or better show? Now, I did put this video out almost a month ago now. We were ahead of the curve here at the channel. 5 replacements for Joe Woods. It has Dr. Heat, Greg Williams on it, Mike Zimmer, some other pretty notable names. So, the video is on the channel. That's the thumbnail for it. I also have the link to it in the comments and the description of today's show. So head on down there, click onto it if you're looking for some other Joe Woods replacements content. Joe Woods, if you're watching, I'd apologize, but your defense gives up the 2nd most points in the NFL. It's embarrassing. So should the Browns fire Joe Woods? Yes or no? I'm expecting this poll question to be a slam dunk yes. If you say no, we have found Joe Woods' burner, everyone. So just get the pitchforks out on YouTube. Now, speaking of hot seats, I'm a little amped up right now. Kevin Stefanski. Is Kevin Stefanski on the hot seat? Should he be? After a 3-6 start, 22-20 in his NFL career with the Browns, 8-9 last season. I'm going to be bold here and defend Stefanski, which might not be the popular thing right now for a lot of you guys. But first, our sponsor today, BetUS, is here to say we've got an awesome deal for the Dawg Pound. Head on over to chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Browns125. You don't have to bet on the Browns. Don't bet on the Browns, actually. Bet on the rest of the NFL. Bet on college football. Here's a free bet. Ready? USC is going to lose one of their next 2 games. The Pac-12 always cannibalizes themselves late in the season. Oregon lost, and now it's USC's turn. So that's my free pick right there. Or take Tennessee money line. Go Vols, my alma mater. Thank you, Jeremy. Stefanski, hot seat. No changes are going to be made to Kevin Stefanski's job title, as he was instrumental in getting Deshaun Watson, right? Him, Barry, and the Haslams, those 3 groups of people were all big aspects and big factors of getting Deshaun Watson to Cleveland. He is not getting fired middle of the season before Watson even gets to take a snap. That defeats the whole purpose of what Kevin Stefanski's role was in getting Deshaun Watson, okay? Now, Deshaun Watson returned to practice today for the first time since his suspension began, but I think it is very important to note Stefanski is not getting fired midseason. That is just a fact. I will call that right now. If Kevin Stefanski gets fired midseason, you guys ready for this? You ready? You ready? I will do a polar plunge in Lake Erie. I'm bringing it back. I offered this bet if Baker took a snap for the Browns this year. Remember those conversations back in May? I said it would never happen, and some people said you're lying, and I said I'll bet a polar plunge on it. I'll do a polar plunge in Lake Erie if Kevin Stefanski gets fired midseason. They're just not going to make a change. They're not going to make a change, most likely, even after the season. They're going to want to see a year and change of Watson with Stefanski before any type of change is made. At the end of next season, that is when I will have my complete opinion and verdict on Stefanski as a head coach, because he needs that season with Watson to really form a complete opinion in my mind here. All right, speaking of Stefanski, Cameron Justice tweeting out on Deshaun Watson returning to practice this week. We'll have a plan for him to start getting ready, but Jacoby is number 1 priority in getting him ready to play in this game, and that's the right mindset, right? Remember in the preseason, they favored a lot of first-team reps to Watson over Jacoby Brissett before the suspension was announced, even though we all knew it was going to come. Well, now Stefanski is showing we're not going to kind of raise the white flag on this season and turn all things over to Watson. No, they want to get Jacoby Brissett every first-team rep for the next 2 games because, as Myles Garrett put it, the next 2 games are must-win games here. This team, though, desperately needs a leader. And Deshaun Watson, he has to be it. Who is the leader of this team? We've asked this question multiple times before. Is it Myles Garrett? Just because he's taken first overall doesn't mean he is the right leader of this team for years to come. Because I have not seen any leaders step up and take control of this locker room. And what do I mean by that? The disciplinary issues on this team. Perion Winfrey, a rookie defensive tackle, continues to run into disciplinary issues. He was a healthy scratch. They promoted UDFA practice squad defensive tackle Roderick Perry for Sunday's game. This is the second time we've had disciplinary issues for Winfrey. Grant Delpit, he was benched for the first snap of this game. What happened? They're keeping it in-house, but clearly this locker room does not have any sense of accountability. Right? There's no sense of playing for your teammates, playing for your brotherhood right there, or else you wouldn't be doing whatever you're doing to continue to run into disciplinary issues. This team needs a leader to get everyone in line. This is the NFL. This is not some throwaway game in Rochester, right? Come on. All right. Here we go. Herb Brooks. Cameron Justice also, I know. I did a miracle line right there. Kevin Stefanski, the whole studio just came in here to talk about it with me. Kevin Stefanski I know that locker room. I know the leadership that we have on this team. I know they're disappointed, but we've got to control what we can control right now, which is own this one, learn from it, move on, and then find a way next week. If you know this locker room, can you tell someone in it to step up and take control of it? Because it is a major red flag in my eyes to be in week 10 and have a rookie defensive tackle when this group is not even good to begin with, breaking team rules week after week, healthy scratch twice so far this season. All right. That's kind of the end of my TED Talk on the leadership. Deshaun Watson, I know you're watching. The whole team, I know you're watching. Figure it out. We all spend way too much time as fans watching games, spending our hard-earned money on merchandise, spending money on tickets, concessions, for you guys to be going to clubs during the middle of the week, getting into trouble, breaking team rules. It's disrespectful to this organization and to this proud franchise and to this proud fan base. Before we go out of here, our watch party MVP, we're kind of starting a new tradition here at the channel moving forward. This is our MVP from this previous watch party, and it goes to the Andrew Woods family. I know your son or daughter sent in a super chat on your behalf. Andrew Woods, blind but watches our watch or joins our watch parties. And Andrew Woods, appreciate you for joining us, for tuning in and being a part of our watch parties every Sunday. We'll see you guys later with more Browns news and rumors.